Imagine discovering that the person you trusted most, the mother of your children, was sneaking away to cheap motels with another man. Now imagine not just catching her, but burning her lover's entire life to the ground. This isn't just a story about betrayal. It's about the sweetest, coldest revenge you'll ever hear. If you've ever dreamed of serving justice to someone who wronged you, hit that like button, subscribe, and get ready for one of the most jaw-dropping revenge stories you'll ever hear. Trust me, you won't forget this one. It was the early 2000s. Life was supposed to feel steady. I had 2 kids, ages 4 and 6, a wife, a home. But something was off. Kids are honest little creatures. Too honest sometimes. And mine kept talking about spending entire days with their grandparents. Which shouldn't have been strange, except her parents lived an hour and a half away. Why was she driving there too, sometimes 3 times a week? Especially on days she wasn't even working? At first, I brushed it off. Maybe she just needed help. Maybe I was imagining things. But deep down, I felt it. Something ugly was happening. So, I did what any man desperate for the truth would do. I started tracking the mileage on her car. Quietly, patiently, and week after week, it didn't lie. She was racking up 400 extra miles. My gut twisted. My chest tightened. I'd catch her smiling at her phone, or rushing out the door with a flimsy excuse. Every night, when she'd slip into bed beside me, I'd stare at the ceiling, a storm brewing inside. Handed me the key. Literally. She left a sticky note on the desk. Scribbled on it, clear as day, her AOL password. I swear my hands shook as I typed it in. Part of me begged, don't do it. If you don't look, maybe it won't be real. But the other part, the one already drowning in suspicion, had to know. And there it was. Emails. Back and forth with her old college best friend. My wife bragging about sneaking off with her high school ex, laughing about his wife, mocking her for getting fat after kids. My stomach dropped. It wasn't just an affair. It was cruel. It was ugly. I printed the emails, slid them into a folder, and hid them. My proof. My weapon. The PI cold, hard evidence. But I wasn't done. Proof in words wasn't enough. I needed to see it, to know exactly what she was doing. So, I called a cop friend, who connected me to a private investigator. Let's call him Ron. Ron was a pro. I gave him the emails, the suspicions, the schedule. Within weeks, he had the whole story, photos times dates. The routine was sickening in its predictability. She'd drop the kids off with her parents, drive straight to a grimy motel, meet him for lunch, then they'd disappear into a room for hours. Afterward, she'd pick up the kids and come home, wearing her I'm just a mom and wife mask. Every smile she gave me, every kiss goodnight, I now saw as a lie. The breaking point, my childhood shadows. I knew then I couldn't stay. My parents had cheated on each other when I was a kid, and the fallout had shattered my childhood. The screaming, the resentment, the broken trust. I refused, absolutely refused, to let my kids live that same nightmare. So I called a divorce lawyer. Quietly, carefully. I was done playing the fool. But I wasn't just going to leave. No, someone else needed to pay. Through Ron, I learned who this man was. Bob. Married. 3 kids. Vice president of sales. Working under his own father-in-law. On paper, the picture of stability. Behind closed doors, a coward sneaking off to destroy my family. And here's the thing about men like Bob. They think they're untouchable. Family money. Big house. Cushy job. He thought he could take what he wanted and walk away clean. Not this time. The plan, twin strikes. So, I crafted my revenge. It would be precise, devastating, and above all, poetic. Step 1, my wife. I had my lawyer prepare divorce papers, ready to serve. Step 2, Bob. I asked Ron to prepare extra copies of his report. And then I gave him one final mission. On the day my wife would be served with divorce papers at her workplace, Ron would also meet Bob's wife. Hand her the proof. Let her see the monster she was living with. Execution, 2 homes shattered. The day came. My wife sat at her desk at work when a manila envelope was placed in her hands. Inside, divorce papers. Her face, I imagine, must have drained of all color. Her carefully crafted lies crumbled in an instant. Meanwhile, across town, another envelope was being opened. Bob's wife, a woman who deserved none of this, stared at photos of her husband wrapped around another man's wife. My wife. I didn't stick around for the fireworks. But oh, the aftermath was glorious. The fallout, Bob's empire burns. Here's what happened next. straight from public records and whispers that made their way back to me. Bob's wife? She didn't waste time. She cleaned out their joint bank account, packed up the kids, and left. She filed for divorce so fast his head must have spun. Her father, Bob's boss, found out everything. And just like that, Bob was fired. His cushy VP job? Gone. The house they lived in, owned by her parents, evicted. Out on the street. It only got worse. Their divorce was a battlefield. Screaming matches. Court fights. Police called when Bob showed up at the house, desperate, furious. One day, her brother stepped in, and Bob walked away with a broken nose. Restraining orders. Criminal charges. Even jail time. His entire life collapsed like a house of cards. As for me, I kept things simple. I never spoke a word to Bob. Never confronted him face to face. My revenge was silent, surgical, and absolute. My ex-wife and I kept things civil for the kids. I refused to engage beyond what was necessary. Now that my kids are grown, I don't speak to her at all. I don't hate her. I don't love her. She's simply the mother of my children, nothing more. And Bob? Last I heard, he vanished. Left the state. No trace of him online. But his ex-wife? She thrived. Took over her father's company. Built a new life. A better one. Justice served. The man who thought he could steal my wife lost his marriage, his kids, his career, his home, everything. And the best part, I didn't have to lay a single hand on him. I just let the truth do its work. Sometimes, revenge doesn't need to be loud. It just needs to be final. Reflective wrap-up, 15 to 20 seconds. Betrayal cuts deep, but revenge, when done right, isn't about screaming or fighting. It's about patience, precision, and letting people destroy themselves with their own choices. In the end, Bob built his own pyre. I just lit the match. If this story gave you chills, smash that like button and tell us in the comments. What's the most satisfying revenge you've ever seen? And of course, subscribe for more stories that prove karma always collects its debt.